Think about the most famous person on earth right now. Who comes to mind? Maybe it's an influencer with 100 million followers on Instagram. Maybe it's a Twitch streamer who fills arenas, or a TikTok creator whose dances are copied by teenagers across 5 different continents. But now, let me ask you a different question. If you put that internet celebrity on a massive billboard in the middle of a country where people don't speak their language, could they sell out a movie theater based on their name alone? Probably not. But 30 years ago, a handful of human beings could do exactly that. For decades, global cinema operated on a simple, unspoken rule. The star was the product. If Tom Cruise's face was on the poster, you bought a ticket. If Shah Rukh Khan smiled, millions smiled. If he cried on screen, millions cried with him. If Jackie Chan was hanging off a helicopter, audiences from Hong Kong to New York lined up around the block. These weren't just actors. They possessed a rare universal currency, monoculture stardom. And this wasn't just true for male stars. Julia Roberts could open a romantic comedy almost on her name alone. In India, Sri Devi became one of the biggest stars the country had ever seen. While across Europe, actresses like Sophia Loren and Catherine Deneuve became global cultural icons. Stardom had no gender. It simply belonged to the biggest personalities of their era. But look around today. Who are our modern movie stars? We have incredibly talented actors, sure. Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Glenn Powell, Florence Pugh. They are brilliant, charismatic, and beautiful. Yet, despite their talent, none of them seem to command that same mythical earth-shaking gravity. If Zendaya is in a Spider-Man movie, it makes $1 billion. If she's in a smaller, original romantic drama, it struggles to break even. The crowd is turning up for the mask, not the person wearing it. So, what happened? Did the world run out of charisma? Did acting schools stop teaching whatever magic made Arnold Schwarzenegger or Denzel Washington so mesmerizing? No. The truth is much more fascinating. The movie star didn't disappear because actors got worse. They disappeared because the global entertainment ecosystem was fundamentally re-engineered. This is the story of how the business, the media, and our very psychology changed, and why the machinery that once manufactured the global superstar has been dismantled forever. To understand why stars used to be so massive, we have to look past their talent and look at the physical infrastructure of the 20th century. The global superstar was born out of a structural phenomenon: scarcity. Go back to the 1970s, 80s, or 90s. Entertainment was bottlenecked by physical reality. There were only so many theatre screens in a city. Film prints had to be physically manufactured, packed into heavy metal canisters, and shipped across the world. Because distribution was incredibly expensive and logistically difficult, studios released fewer films each year. This created a massive distribution bottleneck. And because choices were strictly limited, the entire world was forced to look at the exact same thing at the exact same time. Think about the sheer scale of this shared cultural moment. In an era before the internet existed, Bruce Lee became a household name across the globe. Why? Because when a movie theater in London, Cairo, or New York only had 3 screens and one of them was playing Enter the Dragon, that film became an unavoidable cultural event. In India, this scarcity took on an almost religious dimension. In South India, when a new movie starring Rajinikanth or Chiranjeevi releases, fans don't just buy tickets, they perform Abhishekam, a ritual where they pour thousands of liters of milk over giant cardboard cutouts of the actors' faces. Female stars inspired the same devotion. In Tamil Nadu, fans celebrated Khushbu with temples dedicated to her. In Bollywood, Madhuri Dixit's films became nationwide events, proving that audiences didn't just admire actresses, they worshipped them too. This level of deification was only possible because cinema faced almost zero competition. Entertainment did not have to compete with the internet, smartphones, or digital gaming. If you wanted escape, you went to the cinema. And because everyone watched the same movies, society developed a unified vocabulary. If Amitabh Bachchan played the angry young man fighting corruption in a Bollywood film, he was voicing the collective frustrations of an entire nation that had no other digital outlets to express themselves. Scarcity forced our attention to converge. It acted like a magnifying glass, focusing the emotional energy of millions of people onto a single solitary face. But superstardom wasn't just an accident of technology. It was a meticulously manufactured business model. In the golden eras of cinema, studios didn't just market movies, they marketed human beings. Across different global hubs, from Hollywood to Hong Kong, studios operated under rigid system mechanics. Actors signed exclusive multi-picture contracts. The studio controlled their public image, chose their roles, and carefully orchestrated their media exposure. To understand how powerful this machinery was, consider how global distribution functioned as a weapon of fame. Take Shah Rukh Khan for example. You might expect him to be a star in India, but did you know he became an absolute cultural phenomenon in Germany? In the early 2000s, a German television network broadcasted his film Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham in a country with a completely different language and culture. Millions of German viewers fell in love with his unashamedly emotional romantic screen persona. The same phenomenon crossed borders for actresses as well. Devi found admirers far beyond India, while Gong Li became one of the defining faces of Chinese cinema around the world. A powerful performance could travel across cultures long before social media ever existed. Why? Because the distribution gatekeepers decided to put him on that screen, and the audience had fewer alternative options to turn away to. The studios also tightly policed the media ecosystem. Television appearances were rare and highly calculated. If a star like Meryl Streep, Denzel Washington, or Francis Alain Delon appeared on a prime-time talk show, it was a massive event because there were only 3 or 4 major channels. The studio's marketing department could guarantee that if they put their star on those specific channels, 90% of the country would see them. Stardom was a top-down pyramid. The gatekeepers controlled the top, and they spent millions of dollars ensuring that the face of the actor became synonymous with the brand of the cinema itself. The system elevated actresses too, from Devi and Madhubala in India to Audrey Hepburn in Hollywood. Studios carefully built larger-than-life public images, turning talented performers into timeless icons. There is a profound psychological difference between how we used to consume stars and how we consume content today. It comes down to the physical scale of the experience. Back then, you experienced a movie star in a temple of light and sound. You sat in a dark room with 500 strangers, looking up at a 30-foot tall screen. In that environment, the human face is magnified to an impossible scale. Every micro-expression, every single teardrop, every sharp glance from an actor like Japan's Toshiro Mifune or Mexico's Cantinflas felt monumental. The medium demanded your absolute undivided attention for 2 straight hours. You could not look away. Today, people watch movies on their phones while multitasking, skipping through boring parts or swiping away mid-scene because they received a text message. The dynamic of power has completely reversed. The movie star used to tower over you. Now they live inside a 5-inch piece of plastic in your hand. And this shift in scale has completely destroyed the most essential ingredient of superstardom: mystery. Once, audiences only caught rare glimpses of stars like Rekha or Julia Roberts through interviews and magazine covers. Today, celebrities are expected to share their everyday lives online, making them feel more familiar but far less mythical. Before the internet, what did you actually know about Tom Cruise, Salman Khan, or Egypt's iconic Omar Sharif? You only knew them through their characters and a few highly polished, rare interviews. If Shah Rukh Khan gave just one major interview to a magazine or television channel, the entire public consumed it greedily. Between movies, these stars vanished. This absence generated an immense mystique. They felt distant, shining, and untouchable. Today, social media has killed the mystery. To stay relevant in the modern attention economy, actors are encouraged and often contractually obligated to be online. They have to post behind-the-scenes selfies, participate in viral TikTok trends, and show us their morning routines. While this makes celebrities feel more relatable, it strips away the mythos required for true movie stardom. You cannot be a larger-than-life, untouchable icon on a Friday night movie screen if I watched you burn your toast on an Instagram story on Friday morning. We've traded reverence for intimacy. We no longer look up at stars, we look across at them. This brings us to the brutal reality of modern media, the economics of attention. In the 20th century, movie stars didn't just benefit from a lack of other movies, they benefited from a lack of everything. Entertainment competed with almost nothing. If you were bored at home on a weekend, your options were incredibly narrow. Today, attention is the most fiercely contested commodity on earth. When a movie releases today, it isn't just competing with other movies at the box office. It is competing with Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney+, YouTube, TikTok, high-end video games, live football matches, podcasts, Instagram Reels, Spotify, and endless group chats. Our attention is fundamentally finite. We only have 24 hours in a day, and the number of entities fighting for a slice of those 24 hours has multiplied by millions. Because studios are fighting for a fraction of our fractured attention, they can no longer afford to take risks on the unpredictable nature of human beings. Making and marketing a global blockbuster now costs hundreds of millions of dollars. To protect that investment, studios stopped betting on the actor's name and started betting on intellectual property (IP). As the industry shifted, the character became more important than the performer. The studio executives realized that audiences would turn up to see Batman, Spider-Man, or Star Wars, regardless of who was wearing the costume. The individual human being on the poster is no longer the primary engine driving the box office. They are simply a temporary custodian of corporate brand. But perhaps the most profound realization is this: the internet didn't actually kill the concept of the movie star. It did something much more radical. It divided them. In the old world, because of the monoculture, we had one Tom Cruise, one Amitabh Bachchan, one Jackie Chan. They had to be everything to everyone. Today, the internet has decentralized fame, breaking it up into hundreds of hyper-focused niches. Instead of a few universal superstars, the internet created thousands of micro-celebrities. Some of today's biggest female personalities are no longer movie stars at all. They dominate fashion, beauty, lifestyle, or social media, proving that fame hasn't disappeared. It has simply spread across countless different worlds. We now have individuals who completely dominate the gaming world, pulling in millions of live viewers every single night. We have creators who dominate the beauty industry, commanding more consumer power than classic fashion houses. There are icons who dominate comedy, sports, anime, or cooking. If you belong to one of these communities, these creators are your superstars. You know their inside jokes, you buy their merchandise, and you follow their every move. But if you step just 1 inch outside of that niche, the rest of the world has absolutely no idea who they are. We have successfully democratized fame. Anyone can get a piece of it now. But by dividing the cultural pie into millions of tiny slices, we've ensured that no single person can ever command the entire room. Nobody dominates everything anymore. So, where does this leave us? Is the era of the movie star truly over? The stars we have left from that time, the Tom Cruises, the Shah Rukh Khans, the Rajnikants, are like living monuments. They are the survivors of an older, grander world, still pulling in massive audiences because they carry the lingering magical dust of a media landscape that no longer exists. They are grandfathered into a level of stardom that the modern world simply lacks the machinery to manufacture. The movie stars of the 20th century were a beautiful, historic anomaly. They were the product of a unique moment when our technology allowed us to project a few chosen human beings onto giant screens, and our scarcity of choice forced the entire planet to look up at them in unison. They were our shared mythology. Maybe the next Shah Rukh Khan already exists. Maybe the next Tom Cruise is already out there, making independent movies or creating videos in their bedroom. But they will never live in the same world that created those legends. And perhaps the same is true for actresses. The next Sridevi, Julia Roberts, or Gong Li may already be out there. The talent certainly exists. But the world that once created universal icons has changed forever. Because legends aren't created by talent alone. They're created by timing, by culture, by technology, and by a world that chooses to look at the exact same person at the exact same time. Today, the world simply looks somewhere else. Thanks for watching Blue Dog. Subscribe for more cinema breakdowns, filmmaking insights, and stories from behind the scenes. See you soon.